Hello and welcome to Reality TV Cringe. I am one of your hosts, Delia, here with my real tight homegirl, Bea.
Hi.
I almost called you Delia. I've had my drinks. It's been a whole month of dry January.
Congratulations.
So it's my first drink in so many weeks.
Oh
it's
my
going
God.
straight to my head. Plus, I have no body fat.
Yeah.
I have no body fat.
You're just so skinny.
Pardon me if I'm already tipsy.
Oh my God. After one sip.
White girl tipsy. Yes.
Lit.
But this is Bea.
Yeah, hi.
She's my real tight homegirl and my daughter-in-law. And we are here to talk Vanderpump Rules and also 90 Day Fiancé. There's so much trashy goodness to get into.
So much tonight.
Yes. Before we do, let us remind you, had you wife, had you kids? This is a politically incorrect podcast. We may say offensive things. We have dumb opinions because we're dumb. Did you point at me?
Yeah, I did.
She's right. I'm dumb. And so if you're sensitive, you might want to get out of the dumpster. But if you're not, if you're cool, if you're down, then welcome to this dumpster.
Yeah. And if you are cool and down, go follow us on Instagram at Reality TV Cringe. I think we're like 6 followers away from 5,000.
It is taking forever.
I don't know why it's
This
taking
is
so long.
unnecessary. We are edging the fuck out of that 5,000 number on IG. Jesus.
I'm offended. If you aren't following us,
Yeah.
go follow us so we can reach 5K.
What the heck?
Finally. And then also join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Reality TV Cringe. We're covering Love After Lockup on there.
Yeah.
John and 8+K, 1,000-Pound Sisters from season 1.
Plathville.
Gypsy Sisters. A lot of shit.
Everything.
So much trash.
If it's trashy, we're trying to get to it for
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And if you are watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like and comment and share and subscribe. Seriously, anything you do helps us in the algorithm, and that helps us to grow.
Yeah.
So thank you in advance.
Thank you.
Well, Beatrice, are we starting off the pod talking about some of the Vanderpump?
Yes, girl.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because obviously you had some homework. You were going to watch the entire season. And I'm just going to put on my fake psychic tinfoil hat. And I don't think you did.
No, I did actually.
You did?
I think I
Every
haven't-
episode?
I think there was like 3 I haven't watched.
Okay,
Like in the middle.
You didn't?
Well, I mean, I watched the majority of it.
Okay. And you watched all
Yeah.
of the reunions.
Of course.
So you have a general sense of what is going on.
I do. I feel like I'm caught up enough to keep up with you.
Okay. And
Yeah.
everybody else.
And everybody
We've
else.
all been watching it this entire time, but you
Yes.
haven't been. You've been in your lesbian love bubble
I
with my
have.
daughter.
Scissoring and stuff.
That's right. It takes a lot to scissor.
It's
a lot of
a lot of
time.
energy.
So with VPR,
Uh-huh.
so do you have any like thoughts about it or takeaways that you want to get into?
Well,
At the
I mean,
top?
I was like initially hesitant to start this show because, you know, I was thinking it was like a Housewives type of thing.
Right.
Housewives is very produced and I've talked about it before, but I'm like, this shit is lit.
Right.
I'm like, these people are absolutely insane. Like, they're all fucking each other.
Yeah.
They're all fighting each other.
Right. All unfaithful.
All
drunk.
cheating.
Yep.
All drunk.
Yep.
I mean, it's fantastic.
I told you would like it. It's for
I'm
you
loving
millennials.
it. Yes.
Yes.
So good.
Good. Well, my takeaway is I am wondering how Sheena Shea always manages to make it all about her.
Girl.
Like, I developed OCD because of the Sandoval. And I developed anxiety, and I'm on Zoloft because of the temporary restraining order, which was filed against me because you actually hit Raquel, I believe, personally.
Yeah.
You actually did that. You assaulted her.
Yeah.
But she's such a narc.
A little bit. I was kind of getting that vibe during this episode because she would bring everything up like and reference it back to her. Like,
Right.
she's like, oh, I would have talked to Raquel if she did XYZ, but I won't anymore because that bitch did a restraining order on me. And I'm like, not because she fucked your best friend's
Right.
lover. Like, what do you, whatever.
Right. I think she's connecting the temporary restraining order to somehow potentially jeopardizing custody of her child, or like, I would have to go to jail
Okay.
and my baby's.
I guess I get
She's
it.
always doing that. She's always like putting herself in the center of situations. And you weren't paying attention last year when Sandoval broke.
Yeah.
But after Sandoval broke, Sheena, who has a podcast called Shenanigans.
Right. She referenced
And
that a little bit.
Lala, who has a podcast, I don't know what it's called actually. Like, we're doing non-stop podcasts. When I tell you that they made hundreds of thousands of dollars, not just on merch, which we already talked about, but on their podcast episodes. Sheena really, really exploited the fuck out of Sandoval. And to hear Tom say it, because Tom, I think recently went on the Vile Files podcast. Sorry, I've got wig hair in my mouth. I gotta get it out. But he recently was interviewed by Nick Vile. He's like, yeah, I got a text from Sheena after my friend died, but like that's after you've done 1 million podcast episodes on me trying to interview like the son of my gardener to try and find some secret tea on me and totally exploiting the fuck out of my misery. And now you want to send me a text asking about my friend who died? Block.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So she's a clout goblin then.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, the original clout goblin of your generation,
Wow.
for sure. But again, like there's such a duality with every person on the cast.
Yeah.
Like there's so much lovable about them, but then there's the stuff that's just extra shitty.
Yeah, there's shadow sides that are coming out for
And
show.
I think we're going to see that from Sheena. And another thing, because we were talking a little bit before we got here, is I really hope that you like Ariana.
Yeah.
What's your general feel about Ariana?
No, I mean, I do genuinely like her. Like, and it seems like in this season, people are going to start turning their opinions on her a little bit. I mean, I do like her, though. I think she's like a pretty nice chick. Although there's some aspects of her that kind of bother me, like how she got together with her new man like 10 days after Sandoval happened. But then you're saying that you're so upset by Sandoval. Like, I get it. You want to get over somebody. You got to get under somebody. I get it. And then she is mad that he cheated on her. Sandoval cheated on her. But that's how she got in the relationship with him.
Right.
So it's just kind of like those little things where I'm like, okay, Ariana, like acknowledge some of your faults, you know, a little bit.
Yes. And the thing that you might not know is that historically, Tom and Ariana haven't had the best sex life. And in fact, over the last year before they broke up because of Sandoval, they weren't having sex at all. Like, I think they had sex in January, which he references in the reunion because she wore her t-shirt. And that was really fucked up and misogynistic.
That was
awful.
gross. Yeah.
And super dumb of him to say. But like previous to that, and I think Ariana has actually admitted, like, yeah, we don't really have sex because she didn't want to.
Oh.
And I want to play you a clip.
Okay.
Actually, I have 2 clips.
Okay.
The first clip is of Tom Sandoval on the Vile Files with Nick Vile talking about how he felt about Ariana.
I love Ariana. I do. I really care about her. But like, this person fucking throughout our relationship talked to me like I was down here all the fucking time. And it's unfortunate that like my way of acting out against that was like me also like just getting belittled all the fucking time. Like, dude. And I hate to say it, but like I acted out because I had such low self-worth. And somebody like Raquel, somebody who's in her 20s, like doing the essentially the fucking whipped cream fucking bikini thing, like to me, like in Varsity Blues, like I couldn't fucking like I was like, wow, I have really, like, oh my God, like I'm attractive to somebody, like I'm serious, like
I get all that. This might be construed as you saying she made me cheat. That's
No,
not. That's
she
not
didn't.
what you're.
She
You don't
didn't.
want to
I'm
be
not
that
saying
guy.
that.
You don't want to be.
I'm not
I know.
saying that.
I know. Per our conversations.
No, not at all.
It sounds a little bit like that right now. Just so you know. Yeah, it does sound like that. I'm just saying. I'm letting you know.
You're talking about somebody who like she wouldn't have sex with me for like fucking a year.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get all that.
Dude,
and I've been in toxic
sucks.
relationships before.
And I like loved Ariana.
So that was one of the clips from his interview. And so I'm going to come at this with the perspective of an old head who's been in a few marriages and relationships, and also somebody who's watched every single season of this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can attest to the fact that Tom did love Ariana. Especially in the beginning, he was sprung the fuck for Ariana. And we have seen on the show how she talks to him.
Yeah.
She has been very belittling and condescending and like, okay, Tom, very much so for the last, I don't know, handful of seasons. So, And that's what we're seeing on camera.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge leap for me to say, I wonder what's going on behind the scenes. She's showing disdain for him on camera. He might be feeling pretty bad about how she's treating him off camera. But that doesn't negate the fact that, like, well, then open your fucking mouth. You're 40 years old. You're 41 years old. And if you're not happy because you're not getting fucked.
Right.
And if you're not happy because your woman isn't talking to you right, well, then say something and or break up the relationship. Don't go fuck Raquel in a whipped cream bikini, which is the most embarrassing thing to
Seriously.
say. So fucking embarrassing.
So fucking disgusting. And that's totally a dig at Ariana because he did that at the reunion, being like, oh yeah, the last time we had sex, she had her t-shirt on. Yeah, that was so hot. Like, okay, you're a piece of shit.
Yes.
Obviously. And wasn't he cheating on her? Or like, wasn't it alleged that he was cheating on her prior to Raquel, like with Miami Girl?
He actually admitted it in the footage once they picked up the cameras that he had one or two other, which means 20.
Yeah.
Those are the ones he's admitting to.
Right. So then that's the other thing. I'm like, were you guys not having sex also because you didn't want to have sex with her anymore? Because you were fucking other people?
I personally don't think so. I think that he probably wanted to have sex with her. I think he's a narcissist. I think he wants attention from everywhere he can get it. He cheated on Kristen with Ariana, so he's got this in his nature. But at the same time, like, two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
Ariana can act like a bitch. And Ariana can just treat him like not be a very safe place or warm place for him to land, which may cause him, after 1 year of not having sex, to want to start looking somewhere else for what he needs. That's not right.
No.
That's a matter of character, but it's not right for Ariana too. And I really don't like how superior she always seems.
She's a little snooty.
Yeah. About herself. And then when she's called on it though, then she resorts to, well, everyone's so mean to me. Like, she's this like strong fucking feminist woman 90% of the time. But then when she's called on her shit, she goes to tears with it all. You know, she like uses that as a weapon. And I'm like, you could admit to the fact that maybe you weren't that nice to Tom. Maybe you could have done something differently. Maybe you could have opened your mouth and said, I don't want to fuck you anymore. I'm not attracted. I'd like to see other people. And you could have done the right thing, but you didn't.
Right. You both didn't. So, I mean, there's problems in your guys' relationship. Just acknowledge that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I can understand that perspective, but I just don't fucking like Tom either. So it's hard for me to take what he says like seriously because I'm like, well, you cheated on her though. Right. After 9 years, like grow the fuck, and you were cheating on her multiple times. So grow the fuck up, dude. Right. It's just a cop out to me. Yes. He's just doing that because he's like, oh, well, Ariana was a bitch to me, so I had to fuck other people.
But I mean, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
Because there's something in me, and I'm just going to call it out. I'm going to admit it. You can hate me. You can call me a boomer, which technically I'm not, and that sucks. Don't do that. That's mean. But I like Tom Sandoval. Like, I have historically, season after season. Oh my God, there's so many iconic moments with Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz that I just can't help. And I'm probably very Lisa Vanderpumpy with it. Like, I'm just like, but I've watched him. I've liked him. So there's part of me that like sort of low key roots for Tom. And I wonder, based on the season preview, if some of these other people start going over to Tom's camp too, like Sheena and maybe even Lala.
Yeah.
And because maybe Ariana starts showing more of her true colors and people are like, well, but Tom's the devil, you know. Like, yeah, he's a narc, but he's a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cheater, but he's a dummy. He's kind of a lovable dummy. So it's going to be good. With me kind of having some affection for Tom Sandoval, I'm just going to admit it. Yeah. And you being like, this guy sucks.
He's a piece of shit. To me, I'm like, fuck this guy. But you totally give me Lisa Vanderpump vibes. I was watching this episode.
God. What? She's so beautiful.
She's gorgeous, dude. But I literally, this whole episode, I'm like, this is Delia. Like,
really?
Yes. How you carry yourself, how you interact with people, and like you try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
I do.
So yeah, I can see it. Because in the reunion, when I was watching season 10 before this came out, I was like, Lisa, why the fuck are you siding with Sandoval? And then this episode, I'm like, okay, I guess.
Which I would say she never sided with Sandoval. She just gave him grace.
Yes.
She just gave him space to perform his crying.
Yeah.
And to be a total douchebag.
Perform his
crying. Like, I feel like she has a maternal instinct with all of them. But maybe even more so with the guys.
Yeah, probably.
Because she does with James, and I don't know why. She does with Schwartzy, and I don't know why.
But I like James.
I know you like James.
I actually really like James.
Again, you don't have the context
I
of
don't.
like seasons before when he was absolutely a fucking abusive asshole.
Yes, when he drinks.
Right. But there's something super charming and
That's what I'm saying.
lovely about him.
I like him.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
This is the duality of humanity.
Yeah.
This is everybody within this cast. And so that's what makes him so interesting. Okay, I have another thing to play for you.
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay, everybody?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we were talking last week about how Ariana wants to get out of this house, and I misspoke, which is something I always do because I don't sufficiently research, and I should, but I never will. So never expect that from me. But I said something like, I think she wants to buy him out of the house, but he doesn't want to sell it to her for fair market value. And I don't know what I was talking about. So he actually addressed this on the Vile Files. Ooh. And this is like a 2-minute clip. I hope that's okay.
That's fine.
This is what Tom Sandoval has to say about that. And then we will discuss.
She's like, he gave me a shit offer. I gave her an offer of $3.1 million. We bought our house for 2.050.
2.05. Okay. So you're saying you gave a top market?
Yeah, top market.
And you split it?
Yeah. I gave her an offer to buy her out.
So you bought a $2 million house and you both paid $1 million?
We both paid like $250 down payment.
And then you split the assets 50-50.
Yeah.
So you both own half of it legally.
Yes.
Okay. And then you offered her $3 million.
3.1.
3.1.
3.1 as a buyout.
Okay. And how does that work?
So basically it's like,
but seriously, for people who are going through this, explain how
closing costs. I mean, Ariana hasn't paid a single bill for this house in 8 months. She hasn't paid the mortgage.
Has she lived there?
She hasn't lived there in 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
I didn't live there for the first 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. All her shit's in the master bedroom. Like,
sure.
Yeah. She comes and goes, shows up, whatever.
I got to say, to both of you guys' credit, I feel like you've handled it up until now. It's getting a little messy, but you've handled it in a very mature way because it's one of the biggest investments of your life. It's a major asset. It's not a great time to sell.
It's not.
Do you think Ariana's being petty?
Yes. Big time.
And do you think she's wrong
I put
for that?
solar panels. I've done construction on this house. Yes, she's being petty and she doesn't want me to have the house. That's it. I've offered her $1 million over what we bought into it 3 years prior.
Do you think she should accept your offer?
If she doesn't want to accept my offer, then she should take the house.
What if she doesn't want anything to do with it, but doesn't want you to have it?
Then that's the petty, like, I'm breaking up with you and I don't want anybody to have. No, it's the flipping over the Monopoly board. That's it. It's like I'm losing in Monopoly, so I'm going to flip the Monopoly board over.
I mean, that's fair. Like, if she doesn't want to take the house, that's fair. Mm-hmm. But him buying it out and wanting to give her more money for it and her not taking it, that is a little petty too.
Very much so. So he's, by his way of speaking, of course, we haven't heard her version of it, although she has, I think, made mention that he's not giving her enough money for her half of the equity in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's because maybe she wants 10 million because she wants to punish him.
Of course. Yeah.
So I feel like that is really interesting because it sounds like Tom is trying to make a deal.
Yeah.
Either he can get out of the house fairly or she can get out of the house fairly, but she's making it as hard as fucking possible. So for somebody who's moved on, I don't have to film with them if I don't want to. She's definitely sticking it to him, which again, he cheats on her. He's an asshole. He's a dirtbag, douchebag, hoe, ass, broke ass fool.
Facts.
But at the same time, why do you want to stay connected to him though?
Right.
You're acting like you're above it all.
Right.
So much better than all this, but you don't want to let him go. Why?
Right. Like, why don't you just cut the ties? Like, and if you don't want to leave, then just fucking tell him that and tell him to get the fuck out. That's fine too if you want to keep the house. But I wonder if, like, maybe can she not afford it? Like, can she, if they've been splitting it together?
I think she can afford it. I think she's been making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. She just got the role of Roxy Hart in Chicago.
Oh, damn.
And of course, she's on Dancing with the Stars. She's had a lot of brand deals. She's making money hand over fist. And so she can definitely afford it. So it feels very punitive, which I'm going to always say, if you're punishing somebody, that's immature. Like, just let something go that's no longer working for you. But the fact that she hasn't paid her fucking mortgage in 8 months.
That's crazy.
She's making him pay everything, all of the bills. He's doing renovations. He's doing that on his own. But she's not paying anything. Like, that's... Okay, so when we finally settle then, are you going to pay me back for all of that?
Right.
Because I doubt she's going to want to.
No, not at all. So she should just take his offer then. And especially if she's not fucking living there. So like on the show.
But her shit is there. So technically, legally, Judge Judy would say, you're occupying the premises if your shit is there.
So that's petty then. That's fucked up.
She's petty as hell.
And then on this episode acting like, oh, well, I shouldn't be the one to leave. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, he is the one that cheated. But if he's offering to give you more money than what you bought the house for, then fucking just take it and go.
Yeah. But
that's
she doesn't
$3 million.
She doesn't want to.
Wow.
She wants to humiliate him, I think. And she wants to make him pay. And I totally understand the impulse. And I think he deserves some of that, honestly. I really do think he was humiliated on the national stage.
Oh, totally.
He was talking also in this interview about like his lowest point where he asked his friends to take his guns out of his house because it was just fucking barrage after barrage of all of this shit from everywhere, all these podcasts, like Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, people shitting on Tom nonstop. And I guess some popular bakery released a cake that said Sandoval is a liar.
Oh, damn.
And somebody sent him a picture that they were selling these cakes that said Sandoval is a liar. And he's like, you got to take my guns out because I can't.
Wow.
It's sad. And I mean, and I feel like we as the internet, social media audience, we perpetuated some of that. But I felt very early on, I'm like, we need to hang back here. Can we add some context? I think Lisa Vanderpump tried to do that at the reunion when she's like, y'all are cheaters.
Right.
Every single one of you are cheaters. So you're all up in your high horse, getting up out of your seat, yelling at Raquel, who, by the way, I do think is mentally unstable. And you're just fucking yelling at this girl who's a young girl, made a big mistake. How many of you haven't made mistakes?
Yeah. I mean, but it was a big mistake though with Raquel.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
it's
it was
one of those
pretty
you'll never
fucking,
forget.
And it was dubious. Like, she's best friends with fucking Ariana during the whole entire time while she's fucking her man. Like, that's crazy
it's terrible
to me.
Terrible.
That's like inexcusable to me. So, I mean, but like, does that justify hating them all so much that they want to unalive themselves? No.
Yeah, or acting out.
Right.
Like, and sending them messages and
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's really terrible. That's the world that we live in. And so I just wanted Tom was not on this episode until the very end when he gets home from his, I don't know, he was on some sort of a show. Like
he was in New Zealand.
Boot camp show. And so the very end we see him coming back to the house, the battleground. But I wanted to at least put out there what he's been saying about Ariana and the house.
Interesting.
Yes. And so I want to encourage you, Beatrice, to fight for the ones that you love, because I might be coming at it with like a different perspective. And I love when we disagree.
Me too.
Because we flesh it out.
We do.
Yeah, we do. All right. So having settled that, I'm going to hand it over to you and you'll take us through the first episode, Vanderpump Rules.
Yes. So we start with Ariana at her house and Katie comes over. And
you love Katie, don't you?
I mean, kind of.
Her style's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I like a brunette. I mean, she's cool, but she seems a little bitchy.
Oh, girl. Yes.
So, I mean, we'll see how that fleshes out a little bit because I only have the context of season 10 under my belt.
Oh, she's bitchy.
Yeah.
Trust and believe.
She seems like she's got that RBF.
Yes.
And her and Schwartz are kind of interesting because they were married.
And that's
now
weird,
they're divorced.
Right? When you see
very
them together
fucking weird.
Now. Yeah.
Very weird. And I have a gay conspiracy with Schwartz.
Okay.
I think I told you about it, but I'm going to tell the Raccoons that I think that maybe Schwartz and Sandoval maybe experimented a time or two.
I think there was, it was with Jax. There was rumors that Jax was in some sort of a sugar baby sort of a relationship in Miami and lived at Tom. Yeah. And lived at Tom Sandoval. Like they lived together at the time. I don't think there's any rumor specifically with Schwartzy and Sandoval, but far be it from me.
Well, I mean, I heard Schwartz and Katie, when they were married, like sex was kind of a issue with them too. You said his dick doesn't work.
Well, I didn't say that. That was Katie.
She said he had a broken dick?
Yes.
Well, then what if that means, just hypothetically, that it was broken for women? Like maybe, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Right.
Some of these men are very metro.
Yes. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. But
No,
I'm just saying,
of course
like,
not.
Schwartz kind of gives me a little bit of a vibe.
Yeah.
Anyway, Katie comes over to Ariana's house, and Ariana talks about how her and Sandoval are still living in this house together, even after the whole scandal, but she's maintaining no contact, and the only way that they communicate is through their assistant Anne or his assistant Anne.
His assistant, right.
Which is kind of crazy. Tom's in New Zealand shooting some stupid reality show.
Good for him.
And then Ariana tells Katie about Tom wanting to buy her out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I don't think I should because he's the one that cheated.
Right. And she's starting to kind of frame it as maybe it would be an unfair deal for her.
Yeah.
Which is why I thought we needed the counterpoint of what Tom is saying here.
Yeah. Because
Right.
initially watching this, I'm like, well, yeah, it is kind of an unfair deal if he's wanting to buy you out after ruining your fucking life.
Right.
But knowing that he offered you more money, I'm like,
Well, the question is, when did he offer it, though? Because she
True.
ultimately gets an attorney, as we see in the season preview. So maybe by the time she's getting an attorney, he's like, okay, let me come to the table correct and make you a good offer. So who knows?
yeah, who knows at this point. And then it's also revealed in this scene that Tom is still in contact with Raquel because they're sending postcards and letters and stuff to
while
each
she's
other.
in rehab.
Yeah. So is she in rehab or at like some mental facility? Because it wasn't really specified.
Raccoons. I want to say, no, it's not like substance abuse rehab.
Okay.
It's more like for mental health
Okay.
and exhaustion. And I've been through a lot, kind of a rehab.
That's what I kind of figured.
Yes.
I mean, because it was a lot. Like, and to have everybody
Oh my
in the
gosh,
world
yeah.
fucking hate you.
Yes. And so if it was happening for Tom and Tom was suicidal, which is what he's essentially saying, then
Right.
you can only imagine how Raquel felt.
Oh,
Because
for
it's typically
sure.
the woman who takes the brunt of all that bullshit.
100%. And then we go over to James and Allie, who recently got a house together, which I thought was really cute.
It was cute. And I asked you again what her astro sign was because I really feel like she steadies and grounds him.
She's a Capricorn sun. I don't know the rest of it, though.
Right. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because he's a Pisces, right? Did you say he's a Pisces?
No, he's got the Sag Venus, the Sagittarius
okay, that's right,
Venus.
That's right. So he's got a lot of emotions that are constantly going on. And she just seems like a very level-headed. She's so young, but she's level-headed.
She's really pretty, too.
She's very pretty, but like you can tell she's young because she's agreeing to go into a house. I don't know if they're both purchasing it like Tom and Ariana did without being married. Like, I don't know what that financial situation is, but she's in love with him. So
Yep.
she's agreeing to be there.
I know, which is very interesting. And then this scene, James talks about how his feelings are still hurt after Scandival because he felt like he was ousted from the group a little bit, especially from the guys. And he also says that Tom has like gone straight up cuckoo and he's been to a couple of his really bad cover band performances and they're bad.
I told you about
I
this.
know.
I'm like, he's in this band. When you have an opportunity, you got to look it up because,
Dude.
when I tell you he is feeling himself
Oh my
on
God.
the stage, which I kind of love. Like, I love a creative person.
Of course you
I
do.
I love a creative person.
Yeah.
I love with somebody who's in the vibe,
Vibe check.
which you cannot say he's not. He is loving life. He's loving himself. He loves the crowd, but he cannot fucking sing.
Dude, he thinks he's a rock star.
Yeah, I know.
He literally thinks he's like a rock star crossed with Johnny Depp. And I'm like, dude,
D Lulu.
calm
D
down.
Lulu.
Your band sucks. And then we get over to Sheena and Brock's house.
Yeah.
And this was like boring, but the only thing that came out of this was Brock and Sheena were talking about Sandoval and
Right,
how he's
'cause
been
that's all she
ghosting them.
has.
Yes, that's it. And how he's been ghosting them because Brock reached out after Sandoval's like childhood BFF recently passed away, Ali. And he didn't say anything to Brock. And Sheena did the same thing. She's like, "Why are you okay? We're here for you."
Right. In May of 2023, which is just, was the reunion even being broadcast at that point? I don't think so. I think we were still like in the season of Vanderpump Rules. And so this is all going down. Tom's getting fucking skewered. Again, Sheena is on her podcast episode after episode, just fucking exploiting the fuck out of Tom. And then you want to send him a text in May and be
Girl.
like, "Are you okay? I'm here for you. Really want you to know I'm here for you."
Shut up.
Block, 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 block. I was listening to an interview again with Tom where he was just like, "Yeah, no, I just blocked her account and any account associated with it. I'm sorry if that's 17 of your other fucking accounts, but if you're going to sit out here and exploit me and my pain and
Right.
make all of this fucking money and then pretend you're my friend, I'm sorry, no."
Yeah.
But at the time that he gave this interview, he's like, I unblocked everybody that I had blocked, so I'm open to it. But yeah, he was pissed.
I mean, I don't blame him really if she's totally exploiting his pain just for profit, but whatever.
So can I get a vibe check?
Yeah.
Can I get your vibe on Brock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheater. A little bit.
Weren't there rumors that Brock tried to do something with like Lala.
What?
Yeah, and I think that got back to Sheena, and she's like, Lala would never do that, but I think she felt, and she even mentions in this episode something like her OCD was making her crazy in her brain ball, and she was wondering, can Brock cheat with Lala? And I'm like, oh, there it is.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So when she said that, because she's like, I was so traumatized after Sandoval that I was worried Brock would cheat on me. I'm like, has he cheated on you? I mean, he's handsome.
Really?
He's like an off-brand, like Jason Momoa.
Dad bod. Dope.
Don't body shame.
I will. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a dad bod, but I'm just like, oh, there's just something about him that's so dollar store to me. He's, again, do you get the opportunist vibe from him?
A little bit.
Like, he feels so lucky to have met Sheena and have her fall in love with him.
Yeah.
And he's just there for the ride.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's probably fucking other bitches on the side. Yeah. That's the kind of.
I hope he's not.
I hope
God.
not too, because he's the dad of Summer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Summer Moon.
I hope not. That's a cute name.
That is a cute name.
Her kid is very cute.
If you ever have a baby, maybe you could name her Summer or something.
Summer Moon would be better than Clementine.
I love the name Clementine. Are you kidding me? Oh, you know what I would love?
What?
What about the name Calamity? Have you ever heard of Calamity Jane?
Yes, of course.
You could name your child Calamity. Would that be beautiful? I got it from one of them romance books I was reading.
Oh my God. Stop it.
Back to Sheena.
Okay, back to Sheena.
So they're having this conversation and it's just like all about her.
Yes.
And how Sandoval has affected her and it's affected her mental health. And I'm just like, shut up, Sheena.
Blah, blah.
What's going on in your life?
Right.
Like,
nothing.
what can you bring to the table that
Nothing.
doesn't have to do with what's going on in somebody else's life?
Nothing. She's like Olivia Plath. It's like, I'm only on the show for my opportunities and to plug whatever I'm doing. That's it. And then the other thing that came out of this scene with her and Brock was that she said that Raquel has been in a facility for 45 days and she recently extended to 75.
So, and this is another thing that I want to talk about because I heard recently Raquel gave an interview. It was either on her podcast, which she launched in January. Jesus Christ,
God,
everybody's got a
all
podcast.
these podcasts.
And ours is the best.
Yeah,
Ours is the best.
it is.
But she was saying that Sheena 100% assaulted her. Like, that happened.
Dang.
She hit me. I filed something because I felt like I needed to document it in case it became important. Plus, my family was in the situation. And then I dropped it because I didn't want anything to happen with Sheena and her family. Like, I don't want her to feel threatened by that. But it doesn't negate the fact that she fucking hit me. And what I did doesn't rise to the level of you physically assaulting me. And so to watch Sheena, therefore, say, I never did that.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have a whole season with her saying, well, the reason I'm so offended and now I have OCD is because she took a temporary restraining order out of me. That's because you hit the bitch, though.
Right. Like, just acknowledge what you did. I don't care that you're on fucking Zoloft for your OCD.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to cry for you. That's what she's wanting, like pity and attention. She's very self-centered.
I listened to that interview with Raquel and I'm like, you're right, Raquel. I mean, I don't like you at all, but like you did get hit and it was not her place to hit you or anybody else. And like the least she could do after you drop the TRO is to say, yeah, I did that and I should not have done that and taken responsibility. But she's going to milk that shit this season.
All season because she's got nothing else.
Right. We're starting with me not liking Sheena. And I typically like Sheena.
Really?
Yeah, she's the underdog. I typically root for her.
She's kind of annoying to me.
Yeah.
Like, even season 10, I'm like, ugh.
She needs to quit with the lip fillers.
Dude.
I'm just going to call it out. I'm the mama raccoon of the... She's only 38 years old.
It's there's like a limit. Like, do it to a certain point.
What are you doing? I know you're in LA and everybody's dysmorphic and you guys are just looking into each other's faces and seeing fucking clown world. I know. But I mean, the rest of the world... There is such a difference. My friend, California Jen, was talking about the plastic surgery you get in California versus the plastic surgery you get in New York. It is night and day.
Really?
The women in New York are going for subtle. They're going for, I mean, I'm not in the movie Saw.
Yeah.
I'm not Eric Stoltz with the mask.
Madonna.
Like, they can actually see them. Well, I guess she's from New York.
Oh,
but
God.
then you have these women in LA, like they lose the ability to see themselves correctly. They're dysmorphic.
100%.
Sheena's a beautiful girl.
She is.
She's one of the most beautiful girls in the cast. It's on Bravo, I would say. stop right now what you were doing with your face.
For real. Seeing the flashbacks of her from the older seasons, I'm like, oh, girl.
Yeah.
Stop right now.
Yep.
This is crazy.
The only women who haven't fucked with their faces are Ariana, I think, and Katie.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was wondering with Katie, but she's very pretty.
She's very pretty. I mean, if she's done it, it's very, very subtle.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
Doesn't look crazy.
Right.
Then we get to Lala's house where her mama's living with her. And she's moved out, obviously, because she's dealing with a bad breakup from her sugar daddy ex.
Yes.
The fugly looking toad dude.
Did you look him up? I told you to look him up, girl. What'd you think with his,
he's ugly.
with his turtlenecks?
Dude.
You ain't hiding your neck, honey. I can see that neck through the turtleneck.
No. And
It's
then
bulging.
in season 10, I got to like an episode last night where she's talking about the sex with him wasn't even good.
Right.
Like, so you were just with him for the money, but you're
Yes.
acting like you loved him. And then you had a baby with him. Why? And then you break up because he got into drugs or something. He was selling drugs.
No, he was cheating.
Oh.
He cheated on her.
I thought he was selling drugs and stuff too, though. No?
I don't know if he's doing that, but she broke up with him because she found evidence that he was cheating on her.
Even though he was cheating on his
Right.
wife with her.
Well, but she had told herself this delusional story that she was not the mistress and that he was already separated from his legal wife and there are 2 children. And so she says that she believed that, but I will say again, I don't think she ever believed that. I think she knew when she was taking the PJs and the Range Rovers that this was a fucking nefarious situation.
Yeah.
And now you're just trying to play it off that you weren't a mistress, but she's actually kind of coming to Jesus in this episode.
In this episode, which I was happy to see. So maybe she's come to light and realized her fucking stupid ass mistakes. And I mean, to her defense, she was saying that she was with this guy when she was 25. So I mean, but I'm like, were you really that dumb? I mean, I guess maybe.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, and I think wealth and power is very influential, but I just feel like I think the closest she's ever gotten to admitting that she did some shady shit is by advocating for Raquel and saying, when it's all laid out with what I did, I get why people call me a mistress and a homewrecker.
Yeah.
And I just don't want that name and that label to follow her for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Which is basically saying, yeah, when you look at the facts, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I just didn't know I did it.
Well, and she did say it was true. She's like, everybody calling me a home-wrecking whore was true. She says that in this episode. So I was like, okay, that's good. I'm glad that you're being real with yourself. But I still don't understand why you're like crying. Because in this episode, she's like, I'm so heartbroken. I cry every day over my relationship with my ex. And I'm like, why?
Why?
You are literally so fucking gorgeous.
I can't. Sometimes I just stare at her.
Beautiful.
She's
dude.
really beautiful. Her body is so
Banging.
sick. I'm just like,
Oh my
girl,
gosh.
do you realize? And she's had a baby out of her own loins.
I
Do you
know.
even know how beautiful you are?
Like,
Why would you even be with a toad like that? You could literally have any man or woman that you want to.
Anyone.
She's bisexual, by the way.
I know.
And you know she ate Ariana's cookie, right?
Ate it? Like actually
Ate it.
girl.
Honey, she went down on Ariana and ate the cookie, and they had some bisexual chemistry going on because Ariana's bisexual.
I love it.
So she's gorgeous.
Drop dead gorgeous. And that's why I'm like, Lala, how are you so fucking stupid that you didn't realize you were a mistress to this toad looking motherfucker when like literally just look at you two.
One of these things is not like the other.
Seriously.
Okay.
That's what I'm just like, I don't get it.
Right.
But I love her anyway. I don't care. I think she's cool.
Yeah. Oh, when she pops off, when she's on the right side of the history,
I love it.
mean, I love it. When she's on the wrong side of history, like she has been abusive and verbally
sure.
abusive and physically abusive as well.
I can
like
see
it's really toxic.
Yeah. On the reunion, I was like loving her. She
Right.
was just calling out Sandoval for being a piece of shit. Like I
Right.
was loving her and James's vibes on the reunion. It was great. And in this season, it seems like she'll turn against Ariana, which I'm also
I'm here for it.
excited for.
Here for it.
And I think that was pretty much it from this scene at her house, besides that she's in like a custody battle with her ex, I guess, because he doesn't want to give her full legal custody, which is interesting.
Right.
But that's it. And then we get to James and his
Yes.
lunch with Schwartz.
Which was interesting.
Yes.
Because at the reunion, it seemed like James hated both of them
Yeah.
and had no time for any of that horse shit.
Yeah.
But showed up at this lunch with Schwartz, who is very self-deprecating, brought him 2 gifts, a candle that smells like citrus puss and a plant. and it was interesting to see Schwartz in that position because previously aligned with Tom Sandoval and Ariana and some of the other people, like he's in the power position, main people in the cast. And you would have to have been watching over the seasons because there was this season where Jax Taylor says, I'm the main guy in the cast. It's not you, Tom. It's me. I'm the main guy. So Tom Schwartz has always been aligned with the main guys. And now he's kind of on the outs.
Yeah.
And so for him to like come hat in hand like Robin Brown to a lunch meeting with fucking James.
Yeah.
And bring gifts and like pretend they're friends after the way James treated him last year is pretty interesting.
Yeah, a little bit. And like the way Schwartz is talking about it, he's like, I didn't have anybody after Sandoval happened. And like last year was already the worst year of my life. Like I'm going through this divorce and then I'm dealing with this bar and the issues. And then my brother has health issues. And then Sandoval happens and he says it's the radioactive cherry on top of the shit sundae. And I'm like, that's fair. I felt for him a bit because after Sandoval happened, their fucking bar that they took forever to fucking open, put all this money into, just totally tanks. You have staff quitting, reservations not happening, like everybody fucking hates the bar because it's associated with Sandoval. And that I'm like, that's so fucked up for Sandoval to have done, like on top of what he did to Ariana. And we can have a debate on whether or not that was, okay because of Ariana being a bitch to him.
Of course it's not okay.
It's not okay. But like, she was a bitch to him too, allegedly. But like, all of that, and then you do this to your friend, to this guy who's supposed to be like your number one dude.
Right, but let's get some context here because Raquel has since come out in the year of our Lord 2024, January month of, and she's like, Tom Schwartz absolutely knew the entire time that I was banging Tom Sandoval. In fact, his apartment was a designated safe space for us to go to and carry on our affairs. So for him to say, I only knew about the one time and then January is absolutely not true. So if that's correct, and I'm not saying it is because Raquel is a liar, but I believe her. I just believe her. So if that's true, then Tom was complicit in the downfall of his own bar. And I also don't believe that they're doing that bad. I think that there's tons of VPR fans that are going to Sir, Tom, and Schwartz and Sandy's. I think they're probably doing better than he's saying.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair too, because I did remember that while watching this episode. I'm like, but you like knew about it the whole time and you knew that they were fucking. So like, what are you talking about?
Right. I mean, I would have probably been very firm with my friend, like, cut this fucking shit out.
It's not right.
End it with Ariana. Do whatever you got to do on the up and up because this is going to have blowback that's going to affect our bottom line, you fucking dummy.
Yeah.
After Tom Sandoval in particular made them wait so long because he was decorating with his creativity and I got to have the right colors and tiles and the menu. I'm just like, come on. Just too much.
It's way too much.
And then he takes off with the band all the time and he's not there to do the grunt work,
leaving it for Schwartz to handle, and that sucks. And I'm like looking at all this while Schwartz is bitching to James about how the bar hasn't been doing well, and I'm like, well, that's the whole reason why you and Katie broke up too, because she keeps referencing that, like, you chose the bar over our relationship. So
was it worth it,
bitch? So it's hard for me to feel sympathy for him, and I don't like this game that he plays because I see this in some of the like flashbacks and stuff like this. He's always playing this like devil's advocate where he's like on both sides and like, oh, why don't you see it from this perspective? Oh, I'm friends with Sandoval because he's not that bad of a guy. And then he's going on Watch What Happens Live and being like, everybody should just give Sandoval some grace, and if you see him, give him a hug. And I'm like, okay, dude,
right.
Stop.
I watched that Watch What Happens Live, and for somebody who's very verbose, and Schwartz happens to be quite intelligent, actually.
Really?
He happens to be very intelligent. He made a lot of good points. I thought they were salient points, and I got what he was trying to say. Like, Tom Sandoval is fucking ideating.
Yeah.
He's really bad right now.
Yeah.
Give this guy a hug. You guys don't understand. That's what he was trying to do, but he just didn't do it in the way that people could receive it, unfortunately.
Yes. And then the rest of this scene, James talks about how he's not drinking anymore. So he stopped drinking. He was drinking a little bit last year after 2 years or something sober. and everybody was really worried about it last year and during the season and in the reunion. They were like, are you sure you want to do that? Because you're a mean, nasty drunk, apparently, which I haven't seen any of those seasons.
Honey.
But I believe it.
Then you don't know James.
No, I don't.
No.
That's why I love him, but I'm like, I know you've got this dark side that I keep hearing about, so we'll see. But he stopped drinking again, which I'm very happy to hear.
He's sober like you are.
Well, yeah. Smoking weed.
He's California sober.
So?
He's smoking in the morning.
So?
Smoking in at lunchtime.
Yeah.
He's smoking in the afternoon.
Snoop Dogg smokes.
Smoke, okay, but I mean, he's smoking in the evening.
It
Are
depends.
you one of those ding-dongs who says that you can't get addicted to marijuana?
No, you can.
Okay.
You totally can.
I'm just saying he might still have it. He might be substituting, which is very common for addicts to do.
Yeah, for
As I
sure.
drink my
You're
alcoholic
drinking your alcohol.
beverage. Tinka.
But I'm like, out of all things to be addicted to, if it's just weed, it's like, to me, I'm like, oh, whatever. It's not like it's heroin.
Correct.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, well.
But I'm just offering that maybe he still has a problem.
He might. We'll see it in this season.
And I think
sure.
it's a personality problem. I actually wonder if it's like some sort of a cluster B or some sort of an issue that he has mentally that he's trying to self-medicate himself through.
Yeah, it seems like he's got kind of an edge or a hard edge to him that he's dealing with. But it seems like Allie's good for him.
I don't know why she's there.
I mean, she loves him apparently.
Good for her. I hope it's working for her in their airline trajectory house where they're outside and the producers keep looking at that. The airlines
is terrible.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's California. Like, you think you're going to get a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath for under $750,000 in a nice neighborhood? The answer's no.
Look at where Rob lives.
No.
90 Day Fiancé.
He don't got a bathroom.
No,
girl.
he don't. And then we get to Sheena and Ariana, who are having a spa day before going to Tom Tom later or whatever. Right. And the only thing that's really interesting here is that Sheena, I think, Ariana mentions that she met her new man, Dan, 10 to 11 days after the whole Sandoval thing broke out. And now they're in love and they're long distance because he lives in fucking New York and he's a personal trainer. And she's like, I love him.
So I don't want to be judgy, but I'm going to be judgy.
Yeah.
Because you had a man.
Yeah.
You weren't fucking your man. And maybe it's because he's a narcissist and I'm not in your marriage. But you weren't physically engaging your man. He had a problem with that. And you were belittling your man. I believe that. And Tom was probably an absolute insufferable prick to live with. And I get that too. But you also attributed a lot of your dysfunction to your body dysmorphia, to your past trauma, which is valid 100%. But then you break up and in 10 days, you're fucking somebody else and you're fucking him nonstop. And I'm like, so, which just begs the question for me. I'm not judging that because I totally understand. I actually totally get it.
Yeah.
Because she was over it with Tom. But you should have ended that shit 3 years previously. You should have put your big girl panties on and you should have had a conscious uncoupling conversation with Tom Sandoval.
Yeah.
And you should have released him with love and grace. And then you should have gone and fucked whoever you wanted to fuck. But you kept it in a situation where both of you were unfulfilled and angry and resentful and also hurting each other.
Right.
The way that you were speaking to each other lacked respect. And let me tell you something. For your own marriage to my daughter, when you start communicating with lack of respect and insults and shit like that and tone like that, your shit is over.
Yeah.
You really can't, especially if you're a woman, it is very hard to come back from that.
Yes.
So she should have handled that differently. And I just find it interesting that she went on to just start fucking some new guy.
Yeah, I'm like, that's really fucking quick after a 9-year relationship. Like, it would have been one thing if you were just fucking other people and it was like one night stands or whatever, but it's a whole ass relationship now, apparently.
But I don't want to judge it because I would do the same thing. If my husband cheated on me, I would be at the fucking dive bar. I'd be like, how much do you want this chocha for? Let's do it. I want to do it. Right on the pool table. We're doing it. I would be a skank hoe and I don't care. An old one, I would be that lady.
Yeah, you would.
Because I'm just going to get myself out there and I'm going to have some fucking fun. I don't actually blame her, but I just wonder whether she could have handled it better so that we don't have to do this. And like all of the stuff she assigned her dysfunction to, maybe you could have assigned that to I'm not in love with him anymore.
Yeah.
This isn't working for me anymore.
Yeah. Or is it possible that Sandoval was body shaming her though and making her feel bad?
Well, I know her previous boyfriend did body shamed her, and in specific, like body shamed her reproductive parts.
Jeez.
So like super sensitive, terrible types of shaming. I don't think Tom Sandoval would do that.
Well, you never know.
But here I am, just with my inner misogyny on full blast. I don't mean for it to be.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Me
I don't
too.
fucking know any of these
Well,
people.
as Ariana said, the devil doesn't need any more advocates. She stole my line.
Yeah, she did.
I stole it from somebody else.
She copied you.
She did.
And then I think that was pretty much it. Oh, and then Ariana tells Sheena that she blocked Schwartz because she doesn't want to be friends with him at all. I mean, she didn't want to be friends with him after Scandival happened, but especially after Watch What Happens Live when he appeared on there and was trying to give grace. And then she texted Schwartz that night and was like, "Fuck you. Go suck on Sandoval's dirty little dick."
Yep.
And then
Did she say little?
I think so.
Dirty little
Yeah.
dick. Oh, that tells us something, doesn't
I know.
it?
See, then there you go. Like, why'd she want to fuck him? 'Cause
Maybe
it was too little.
Maybe she
get the
couldn't
pleasure
feel
spot.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a Vienna sausage. She needed a little something more.
I mean, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
And then Schwartz in his talking head has to defend himself and be like, "For the record, I've never choked on Sandoval's dirty little dick." And I'm like, why do you have to say that?
Gaydar.
Gaydar. Compensating. I don't know. It's just my theory. And then we get to Tom Tom.
Okay, so we get to Tom Tom.
Yes.
And if I may.
Yes. Go ahead.
All the women arrive and they're all beautiful.
Yes.
And this is triggering and traumatizing for Ariana because she sat in that very location the last time something terrible happened, blah, blah, blah. Lisa Vanderpump makes her, obligatory appearance where she's commiserating with the kids. Just kids, just like you, I'm a kid. And she's superfluous and unnecessary for that. But then Lala pulls Lisa aside and they have a conversation together in which Lala says, "I feel for Raquel. As it turns out, I have a human heart and I have feelings." It's very unusual.
Yeah.
And I was called a mistress and a whore and a homewrecker
Because you were.
on the national stage, and that shit is damaging and toxic. And I just really worry about Raquel because in the last reunion, when she's finally telling the truth, she's sitting down with the producer after the reunion takes place. She's like, "Actually, this affair was going on the entire time. And Tom asked me to lie, but I felt like if I went against Tom, I would have nobody."
Yes.
That struck a chord in Lala's heart. And she's like, I don't want her to feel isolated. I feel really bad. And she starts to kind of cry. And your mother-in-law on the couch starts to cry because I'm just like,
You big softy.
well, I mean, I'm actually thinking about Raquel.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking about Raquel, and she's a young girl who made a big fucking mistake in the worst possible forum to do so. And I'm just grateful that somebody, Lala, is thinking about Raquel. And so she goes outside and she actually calls her.
Yeah.
Well, actually, she leaves a message, right?
Yeah.
A
She
voice
unblocks her
message.
and sends her a voice message.
She said, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm wondering if you want to meet and talk." And Raquel actually gets the message. And I personally felt that showed profound growth on Lala's part.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it was disingenuous, even though it was happening on camera
Yeah.
or performative. I felt like she meant that shit.
Yeah.
And whether it is misguided or not, because maybe Raquel is just an unending piece of shit forever, amen. Lala doesn't want her to feel isolated.
Yeah.
Yay for humanity.
Yes. I did like that for Lala's sake. At first I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Judgy.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just coming in from my perspective. I
Right,
just watched
right.
season 10 and I'm like, Lala was literally talking shit to Raquel all reunion. Like, she's like, "You're a piece of fucking shit. You're a dirty fucking liar."
Yeah, but during the season, she was going back and forth with Raquel,
Yes.
trying to, embrace her, but then push her away. Like, she was conflicted about how to handle Raquel the whole time.
Yes. And so, I mean, I get it from the perspective of like Lala's been in her kind of shoes where people have been just attacking her nonstop and judging her character based on these actions that she's doing. But it's a little hard for me because I'm like, Raquel, I mean, how do you not know that what you're doing is so fucking bad? Like, you are being best friends with Ariana while you're fucking her man the whole entire time, and you're having Schwartz lie about it, and you're making out with him to distract from the fact that you're actually fucking Sandoval, and then you're like making out with all these people during the season.
Right. It's wrong. And she's got a brain and she knew it. But like, I think Raquel was adopted. I think Raquel was put into the pageant circuit at a young age. I think Raquel has just on the timeline of her life always felt like she had to please people and be perfect. And I think Raquel sees Tom Sandoval, and it is a power dynamic it's a power dynamic, right? So Tom Sandoval is the main guy on the fucking franchise. She was a fan, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Raquel was a fan. She was first dating James, obviously. But she was a fan coming in, which is why Lala never trusted her because she was not organic to the situation. But so she's looking at Tom Sandoval as the fucking pinnacle of what it is to be successful and handsome and all of this. And then he turns to her, he gives her his affection and attention. You have to sort of feel how intoxicating that would be for a young girl who probably has a lot, like a vacuum of need for attention and acceptance from people, and is probably doing all kinds of things performatively to get that. So that doesn't make it right.
No.
And again, she's not dumb, actually. She's not.
She kind of acts dumb.
She's not, though. She went to college. She has a history of not knowing how to speak. Like public speaking scares her.
Oh, okay.
So she's got that warble in her voice,
Yeah.
and she speaks through a smile, which looks psychotic, but it's because she's uncomfortable expressing herself. So I, as a mommy, and as a former fucking wild child myself who made a lot of bad decisions, I see this young girl and I'm like, I'm thankful somebody's reaching out to her.
Yeah. At least she's got something else, because she's stuck in a fucking mental facility, it sounds like, and she's obviously struggling. So I get it. It's just like, I don't know. I'm a little sussed out, but we'll see how it plays out. I do appreciate that Lala reached out to her.
You don't have to appreciate it, by the way. Like,
No,
we
I
can
do.
totally disagree with that. That's totally fine.
No, I totally do, because it does show Lala's character. Like, and she's trying to relate to her in like a mature way. And like Lala also does all of this and says that like, I know what it's like to be called a home wrecking whore. And like when you're stuck in this relationship where you're kind of like manipulated and hypnotized by this man who's like head over heels for you and giving you all of this attention and adoration and all of this stuff, like you don't see like what you're doing is wrong, and you don't hear anybody either trying to call you out on it. So like I do get that. And she acknowledged that when people were calling Lala a home wrecking whore, she's like, well, that was true. Now I know that to be true because I'm out of it and I see it for what it is. So I do appreciate that.
Okay.
I do appreciate the authenticity.
Yes. I mean, somebody's there worried about this girl's mental health. But let me just say, she's not in a fucking like Bellevue hospital, like rambling with a robot, like a fucking...
She's in a rich people.
She's fucking in Newport somewhere, walking on a beach, eating vegan meals.
Doing yoga.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's okay. She's resting.
Right.
Yeah. But she needs to.
Yeah. I mean, that's all traumatic. Like everything she went through was crazy. Yes. And then the episode kind of ends with Sheena, Katie, Lala, and Ariana going to lunch together. And they're all just kind of talking about like Ariana and Schwartz. Like Katie comes into this being like, hey, Schwartz misses you, wants to talk to you. And Ariana's like, I don't care.
Right.
Fuck that guy. But then Lala plays devil's advocate again and is like, well, I mean, but just think about like the kind of manipulation and abuse that you went through with Sandoval. And like that was on Schwartz as well. So like... he was kind of hypnotized by him, which I thought was fair.
Yeah, well, yes, conscious.
Yes.
Like she's thinking and feeling things through.
Yes. And then at some point it gets brought up where Lala tells Ariana, hey, I just want to confess to you that I reached out to Raquel last night. So I liked that too.
Me too.
I'm glad she didn't hide it.
Hiding it. She's going to be like, I love you.
Yep.
Straight up. Even though I don't feel like we connect. And that's because Ariana always has a wall.
Yes.
But, you know, this is how I feel and this is what I did.
Yes.
And Ariana, in her talking head, is like, well, that's interesting, though, because when Lala broke up with Randall, she told all of us, like, I will not tolerate any of you talking to Randall. Because Randall by then was integrated in the social group.
Oh, really?
Like, he was going out with them. They were playing fucking pickleball all the time. He was a part of the bros, if you can believe that.
As an old
with his big old head and neck. So, but Lala's like, if you talk to him, if you fucking play pickleball with him, you're dead to me. So it was rich, and Ariana's right. It's kind of rich of you to like have all of these rules for everybody else. But when it's my situation And it's kind of the same situation that you went through because he cheated on you publicly. Now it's okay for you though, right? To talk to Raquel.
Yeah.
The girl who betrayed me.
Yes. So I thought that was pretty based of Ariana too, because I thought it was a little weird that Lala reached out to Raquel, but then she tells the girls, you know, the reason why she did is because she feels for Raquel, and she's like, I feel like we were in the same situations. But then Katie is like, it's not the same situation though. Like it's totally different. Like the players are totally different. Like, how can you really relate to her when Raquel was being Ariana's friend through all of this, through this huge affair?
Which is also valid and fair. And I like to see Katie writing for Ariana because again, and Ariana addresses this at the table. She's like, yeah, Tom never really wanted me to connect with Katie because Tom fucking hated Katie.
Yes.
Like Tom hated Katie. And so he didn't want Ariana to spend time with Katie and vice versa. And so to see her writing for Katie, and I think she's going to continue through the season to do so. Writing for Ariana.
Yeah.
I think she's going to continue to do so. I think is interesting. I don't know how that's going to work out for her though.
No, but don't they have that little sandwich shop that together?
They do. It is not that I know of actually opened yet, and I'm not sure why.
Weird.
Yeah, they've been wanting to open it for I want to say almost a year already. So, but hopefully that opens soon and they're successful. Although it's called Something About Her.
Yeah, which I'm like,
well, my thing is, and you know, they're gonna have like little teacups.
Yeah,
and it's a sandwich shop and stuff. But it just feels like you're kind of canceling out half of the population who might want to come and have a fucking grinder or a sandwich. But I mean, whatever. Hopefully it's successful.
Yeah, hopefully. Or I'll just go to Jersey Mike's.
I would love one right now.
I know.
At Jimmy John's. Oh my God, a turkey tom. Ooh, forget about it.
Oh yeah. And then that's pretty much it. Like that's the last part of the episode is like just them talking about this whole situation. But then Lala does end with telling Ariana, like, look, even though I'm talking to Raquel or I'm like trying to reach out to her because I'm trying to be like a good person, I'm still 100% on your side. Like, I'm still going to ride for you. I'm not going to betray you.
Right.
We'll see, though, because in the preview, it looks like they're going to turn against each other because she calls Ariana out for having kind of a God complex.
Right, which I think is going to be appropriate at the time that she does that. She was on Watch What Happens Live on Tuesday night with...
This Tuesday?
This Tuesday night. So the night that it aired, I forget who she was with. And she said, and somebody called in or had a message like, we see you saying this to Ariana, like, I never knew somebody who got cheated on and all of a sudden they were God. Like, what's that about? And Lala says, just watch the season. And by the time we get there, I think people are going to understand why I said it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I believe her.
I do too.
I'm like waiting to see.
I'm actually thinking like she's setting herself up as the voice of reason here, like able to understand the nuance on both sides of things. I don't think it's fair because she didn't allow for nuance when it was her.
Right.
But at the same time, it doesn't negate that I think that she can feel and see that now.
Yeah.
So I do think what we're going to see in the season is Ariana just spoil any like good-natured love that she has from the audience. I think she's going to take it too far. Personally, that's what I think she's going to do.
OMG. I can't wait.
Me too.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the preview for the season.
Sheena kissing Schwartz.
Sheena kissing Schwartz in Vegas. Actually making out is what Schwartz said. They made out.
Sheena was recently interviewed. Sorry, I know all of this. I'm obsessed.
I don't care.
She was recently interviewed. I don't know if it was on like a red carpet somewhere and somebody asked her about that. And she's like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Okay.
So maybe that's a nothing burger or not.
I don't know. It seems like her and Brock are fighting over it in this season preview. Schwartz dyes his hair blonde for some reason.
Ken and Barbie.
I can't.
The Barbie. I'm the Barbie
Why?
world. I'm a Barbie girl. Because he's a ding dong. He's got nothing else. He's not gay.
Maybe.
Well, he does have like a Ken doll man part, according to Katie.
Stop it.
It's just smooth and glossy there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then Sandoval saying that he's single and ready to mingle, which is interesting because I'm like, okay, so you're not with Raquel
You have
anymore?
been for the last 5 years.
I know. I'm like,
and Schwartz saying, I think he's still in love with Raquel.
yeah, interesting. And Ariana asks her new boyfriend to move to LA and he's like,
Yeah, I'm thinking no.
Yeah, probably no. And I think that's it. Oh, and Sandoval and Ariana's legal battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my lawyer talk to you about the house and my children, which is rich.
Her pets.
Because her children, because they have embryos together. She was one of these dumb bitches who froze her eggs and then had her stupid boyfriend at the time inseminate them.
Stop.
And so it's going to be a whole Sofia Vergara situation where they're going to be arguing over their fertilized embryos.
Stop.
No, but the thing is, you wouldn't know this because you didn't watch all the previous seasons, but Ariana was like, I am never getting married. I am never having children. And Tom was always like, that's the one thing I want is marriage and children.
Really?
Yes. And so Ariana's concession, therefore, was to freeze her eggs and inseminate them for a time in which maybe she'd be open to it.
What?
Later in life. And now she's going to weaponize what he wanted. And there's going to be a legal battle, which, I mean, I'm here for it.
Dude, do you think she'd be the type of person that would just like actually
Dispose
put
of
those
them?
embryos, no, like put them in like a surrogate or something and like actually have those babies?
I can't imagine if she's going to such lengths to like not even let him buy her out of the house at a fair or even elevated price. Like, I can't imagine she would be okay with having a child that had his DNA in it.
I mean, no. Like, why would you want that? But I don't know. I guess we'll see in this season.
Yeah.
But I am excited.
I told you, didn't I tell you?
This is lit.
You should listen to your mother-in-law.
Well, sometimes.
There's some other shows I think you would like as well.
Let's watch them.
Okay.
If they're
we
like this,
shall.
I like this shit.
All right.